I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Our Life, Our Journey.
Our Truth.
So excited to have all of you connected on today. We don't take for granted you being a part of this great community every single week. We are just grateful to have you lock in on this platform. And for us, it means a lot because many of you tell us every single day how this platform blesses you. And we appreciate you so much. And know that wherever you're watching around the world, even our new viewers, thank you so much. Make sure you follow Dr. Steph at Dr. Steph Walker. Follow me at Joseph Walker 3. Make sure you like, comment,
and subscribe.
Yep.
Share with your friends and make sure they subscribe so we can really continue to build this community.
And that is the key, right? Because we really want to make certain that we have so many people who are, if you're new to this platform, let us know in the comment section, shoot us a message and say, hey, I watch every week. That means a lot because we just want to make a difference, and knowing who we're making a difference to is what really gets us motivated.
Yes,
right? So
yes.
we want to definitely thank God for you in that regard, and so we appreciate you so much. You know, this is going to be an exciting episode because you know, a lot of the things that we try to do to be successful, to get to the next level, have to do with reading. It's about exposing ourselves to things that can enhance us as individuals, right?
But I also think that plus our own personal love of reading, right?
Yeah. Start there.
I'm a true believer that leaders are readers and reading creates leaders. And so we even emphasize this just with our kids, even, right?
Yeah.
But I think the point is that you are clearly an amazingly avid reader. Likewise, myself, when we first met, he used to tease me because I would have like all of these stacks of books or journal articles or reports on the side of my bed that I felt like I needed to get to because they weren't just on the coffee table and they weren't just in my office. They were everywhere in the house. I always had to have books near me. So
Yeah. You know, one of the things that before we have this conversation, because I don't want you to tune off and say, oh God, I don't like reading. It's just so difficult, so laborious. No, we got a lot to share. But I want to give you a formula because I share this formula to help you, whether you're, you know, an avid reader or maybe you're like, it's just so hard to finish a book or do whatever. I want to give you a formula. I want you to think about it, okay? So I want you to think about this way. 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening, 5 days a week. All right? Now, 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening, 5 days a week. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying when you want to really develop the habit of reading, find you books that are between 150 to 200.
And I would even call it not the habit of reading, the habit of growing.
Okay.
The habit of improving, right?
Yeah.
The habit of strengthening your toolbox. That's really what it is, right? Because you're learning how to become a consummate learner, like someone who is always learning and growing. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, fact. Yeah. All right. So in the morning, turn the page 10 times. Whatever you're reading, 10 times, and then just stop. Then in the evening, before you go to bed or whatever, you turn the page 10 times and just stop. Now, what you've just done by turning the page 10 times, you've read 20 pages in the morning, you've read 20 pages in the evening. Now, I want you to think about that, 40 pages a day times 5. And what we got, babe?
200.
And you think about it, for the most part, this book's around 200 pages. You can knock a book out in a week. It's not hard at all. One of the other things we've learned is about coupling, and we got that from Atomic Habits, James Clear's book.
Yeah. That's a fantastic book, by the way.
Finding something that you
love,
and something you know not necessarily excited about.
Yeah, aren't excited about doing.
Put those two things together.
So basically, you're saying, in order for me to do this thing that I really want to do, before I get to that, I have to finish this small task.
Yeah.
Or I have to, let's say if it's, I have to, you know, walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes before I can watch my show. Yeah. Or better yet, in order to watch my show, I can only watch it while I'm walking on the treadmill.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. And then think about audiobooks. Like you could do an audiobook while you're working out. So you're working out, your physical body, and you're reading to audiobook is a great tool to do that. And you can get through while you're driving.
Driving home in traffic. So then that 30-minute commute, like some books only take 2.5 hours to complete. So that's just 2.5 days.
And you're done.
Yeah.
And you've got it, right? So I think that's important. So you don't have to make it as arduous as it might appear. It's really a wonderful thing, the love of books. And really starting our kids early in that was so important. Joseph, let me tell you something about this dude. He will take a book, go in there by himself, and I just peep in. This dude's just reading and reading. He won't let
He
you.
loves to show you that he's reading because he goes to the other room and reads out loud to make sure that everybody knows that he's reading.
Yeah, don't bother me, I'm reading. You can't put him to bed without reading. He has a stack of books. And Giovanni the same way. I mean, this is what it's about, right? Starting at an early age and doing that. But in terms of leadership, we know in terms of just, leaders that it's important to expose yourself to content that can give you a catalog of consciousness, if I could put it that way. As what I do as a leader and as a pastor, what I hope comes through the messages that I preach is that I'm well read.
Yeah.
I read books on philosophy, books on psychology, books that deal with various kinds of relationship issues, sociological issues, and those things are very important because it makes what I do, the craft of what I do, so much better. It creates a different conversation when I'm preaching the Word of God. And I think that when you're in the social circles that we're in, and you don't want to be the person sitting up and somebody asks you, "What you're reading now?" You're like, "The paper." So we want to make
Which is not bad.
Not bad, but
right. But if that you're only said that because you're not reading anything else.
Yeah. I read my horoscope.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Jet magazine, which is fine too, but
so I have this cool book club, right? And we're in it together, and it's called Next Level Leader Book Club. And man, God has blessed it. Hundreds of people are part of this book club. We've had Ricky Smiley come on, PJ Morey come on, Oprah came on twice, Dr. Anita Phillips came on. So many authors have come on to talk about their work. And there have been some amazing books in that book club that we've had talk, and some books that we've read individually outside the book club. But one of the books that I think you and I can agree on that maybe we could introduce to this platform that really we just couldn't stop talking about.
Yeah.
Ikigai. Let me tell you something.
How do you spell that?
Ikigai.
I-K.
Keep going.
A-I-G-I, I believe. They'll put a picture. G-A-I. They'll pop a picture up.
Yeah.
You can buy it on Amazon. I think it's like $9 or $10 on Amazon.
Let me tell you something. I hope I spelled it right too. Let me tell you something.
So basically, go ahead.
I probably didn't spell it right. I mean, it was G-I. You were right.
Yeah.
So tell us.
I-K-I-J-I-G-A-I.
Okay.
Can we say that again? Okay.
That's funny because they
and you can just type it on the bottom.
You can at least know that Ikigai, this is written giving us an understanding of how the Japanese in blue zones, which are these longevity zones, how they live their lives and create, I think healthier lives mentally, socially, physically, etc. And they live long lives doing very simple things. And the Ikigai is that place of passion. It's your sweet spot. What is your Ikigai? What is the thing that gives you life?
Like, what's that thing that you can do and like get lost in? And while you're doing it, you're like, I'm just going to sit down and do this for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you look up and it's been like 2 hours. And you're not tired and you're not exhausted. And you can do it all day. And you would do it for free. And you would wish that you could get paid for it. And some people have found their Ikigai and are getting paid to do just that, right? But like, it's something that brings you joy, that brings life to your soul. Like, what is that thing that you could do all day if the world would let you?
Yeah, that's so true. And I think also once you discover that, then developing the kind of, culture around you, the kind of habits around you that sustain that level of peace and passion. One of the things that the book talks about, and we've talked about it from time to time personally is the importance of social circles. Your social people who are in that space often have very strong social circles. We saw it. We saw it in real time. We were on a cruise and we just kept Ikigai. These folks are traveling together, 80 and 90 years old, still sitting up in these social circles.
So like a blue zone is basically various places or regions on Earth where people live not to be 90. Like that's not impressive, right? It is for me, but like for the blue zone, that's not impressive. Like 110, 112, 119, like outrageous ages. And they have the largest population of these centurions, basically people who live to be well over 100 and are very functional, like are getting up and working every day. And if they're not going to work, they're like working in their gardens or walking around town and getting together in these groups or communities and just are extraordinarily active at that age. So the goal in this book was to find out, like, what are these people doing in these different areas to where they're living long? And so then I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it goes over like, you know, what they do regarding their eating habits, what they do in terms of, you know, how are they physically active? Are they? And what are they doing? And like, how are they, how does community help them? And like so many other tidbits, like literally this book has changed my life. It was the first book we read this year. And like, I do certain things now every single day simply because of this book. And they're not complicated. And it's not like it's something that you probably haven't already thought about. It's just that you may not have necessarily made the connection in terms of longevity, right? Because we think, okay, I want to go to the gym and I want to be, you know, buff, or I want to be, you know, I want my legs to look like this, or I want my behind to look like this, or I want to do this and this so I can have my beach body. But are you thinking about how long you can live and live life fully, as opposed to somebody, you know, rolling you around in a wheelchair? Like all of those things are spoken about in this book, and it's just so enlightening and powerful.
That's so important.
And it's a short book and it's an easy read. So I recommend it to everybody.
Easy read. What about Brene Brown's The Gift of Imperfection?
It's beautiful.
To be able to own your imperfection.
And give you permission and let you know that it's okay. And that everybody is dealing with imperfections and fears of failure and all that stuff. Everybody's got baggage, and like being able to embrace
that, right? And then move beyond the expectations of people and to really walk that out in the fullness of who you are. That's really powerful.
It's freeing for sure.
Ooh, liberating is the key. Yes, I would say so. C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters.
Okay, honestly, my husband loves this book. And for me, it was a little disturbing. Like the first night I read it, I had nightmares, like real talk.
Screw tape sent you in.
Yes, it was just like, I mean, it was basically the devil scheming against the human
the human
race, right? And like, I don't have bad dreams usually, but I did after reading this for the first time, and I don't know why. But he absolutely loves this book.
So the reason
you got to be mentally prepared.
The reason why I love the book is because it gives you insight into the psyche of a demon. And what Satan attempts to do to beguile humanity. So you're listening to Screwtape, who is the chief demon, mentoring Wormwood, who concerning the patient, he calls them, which would be you and I, and not letting the patient fall in the grip of grace to God and all this stuff. And so it's really a powerful book, and I think the play is
it's an excellent book, actually. It is excellent, but you do have to be mentally forewarned, and you got to like pray yourself up and like be ready to be immersed, because it's beautifully written. It's so well written, and it's old. Like the book was written in what,
early 1900s.
It's truly a classic.
It's a classic book. It really is.
And they even have a play coming out about it.
They do. Oprah Winfrey's book, What Happened to You? Jesus. And Dr. Brooks wrote that book.
So insightful.
Oh my, Arthur Brooks. That book there
will change the way that you interact with people.
Stop asking what's wrong with you and get at what
happened to you. So, and when someone acts up or says something offlandish or does something or is behaving in a certain way, we have a tendency to, quickly be like, something's wrong with them, and, they're crazy or they're this or that, as opposed to recognizing, wait a minute, for someone to behave in that way or to say those things, they're hurting. Yeah. Something is going on deep down inside. So the question is really, what happened to them to make them this way? Yeah. And I think it makes you more compassionate.
Yeah. Have more empathy for certain.
Yeah. Have more empathy. I don't know. I was going to say tolerant, but I don't know if that's the right word. I think empathy is the right word. Yeah.
Empathy is good. I have a question. So what was in the last 5 years, whether it was in the book club or not, the most impactful book you've read?
Impactful?
Yeah. You can say, Dr. Steph, this book, I'm saying is Dr. Steph, this is a book that probably had the most impact on me in the last 5 years. So you read so much. I know it's hard to go through that, but one book stands out. I know mine.
So I think there's 2 books that were impactful.
Yeah.
And I'll give a 3rd book that's my favorite book of all time.
Okay.
So, The Alchemist.
Yes, talked about that.
Yeah. Is life-changing.
That was in the book club. Yeah.
That was last year's book club.
Last year's book club, yeah.
But I read that years
That's a great read, guys.
I actually recommended it for the book club.
You sure did. You sure did.
But, it basically is a story. I won't tell you the story. You got to go read it. Like, it's tremendously impactful. Like, some of the world's greatest people will tell you it's one of the books that changed their lives as well. And that's the only reason why I read it, because I heard people saying that over and over again. And so basically the gist of it is what you're looking for and searching for is frequently right in your own backyard. And you probably already have it. You just don't know it because you're looking outward as opposed to inward. Put a pin there. And as a result, it will change how you live life and how you do things and how you search for greatness, right? I think the second book, I had it in my mind too. It'll come back to me. But let me put a pin there and I'll skip to my favorite book of all time, is The Nightingale. It's a period piece. It was written during World War II. And the reason that I love the book is because it's just so well written. I love intelligent writers, meaning that, it jumps from time period to time period. All the characters are, and it's fiction, all the characters are so well developed thoroughly to the very end of the book, which is what you seldom see.
Yeah.
And it's just a story of resilience. It's a story of impact. It's a story of various people impacting something amazing, but in very different ways. And so allowing people to be who they are, because you being you, me being me, you being you, we can still have tremendous impact, even though we're approaching it differently. So it's me not being judgmental of how you live your life, you not being judgmental of how I live my life. It's a story of love. It's a story of compassion. It's a story of resilience. I could read that book 100 times, and I don't enjoy reading books more than once. I don't like reading the same story over and over again, but that book is phenomenal. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, gosh. Peter Attia's book, Outlive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. That's 400 pages. But let me tell you something. That
One
book,
of my Dr. Steph's alarms. Sorry. Yes.
That book was so powerful. The premise of that book is not about lifespan. It's about health span. He introduced the term Health 2.0. He literally, as a physician, walks us through how the current medical system is functioning and how you should go deeper in terms of your inquiries with your physician, the kinds of things you should think about. He brings up something I'd never heard before. I've heard about SAD, Standard American Diet.
No.
It's kind of the irony of the acronym, right?
Yeah.
It is very sad. And he talks about how the standard American diet is not conducive to...
It's killing us.
Yeah, it's basically killing us. You look at what we eat as Americans and you travel the world, you're like, wow. We went to Greece, we're like, whoa, like it's a whole different diet. You don't feel it.
Like Japan has like 3% or 4% obesity in their country, and we have like over 50% obesity in our country.
And you think about that, like it's all because of the standard American diet, right? So he talks about that. He talks about the big five that, you know, that basically, you know, you should be running from, trying to avoid, you know, diabetes and hypertension.
But what is like the premise of the book?
The premise of the book is really about focusing in on the quality of life.
Yes.
So that when you are 70 and 80 and 90, you can literally live life and not, you know, have to be decrepit and taken care of, but you really have mental and spiritual and physical, you know, unity and vibrance. And I think to me that was such a blessing, because we often think, man, if I could just live to be 80, live to be 90, and then you think about, man, what kind of quality of life.
Yes, that's it.
You know, there's a word. This didn't come from that book, but it's a word that came from another book that made me think about that book. Right? It's an acronym.
Okay. I'd love to hear about it.
QDL.
QDL. Okay.
I promise you, this is a drop the mic moment.
Okay, go for it.
QDL. Everybody think about it. Make it big on the screen. QDL. Now watch this. So when you think about trying to develop a proper lifespan and health span, and you think about where you are in your life now, and you start factoring in, okay, you know, what is the lifespan of a particular person?
Oh, I think I figured it out. QDL. Okay.
You have to ask yourself this question. How many quality days left?
Jesus.
And how am I going to manage? What stressors am I going to say it ain't worth the quality days I have?
How do you mitigate that?
Yeah, I want these days to be quality. So every time you allow stress, somebody else's issues and drama to come in, that day is over and you lost a quality day.
Yeah.
Right?
But you cannot
get it back. You can't.
Don't waste your
John
time.
10:10, the thief cometh to steal,
kill, and destroy.
I am come that you may have life.
And have it more abundantly.
Y'all better hear me up ahead of day.
That's why I refuse to spend time on nonsense. Man. I will not give 5 minutes. The moment that I see where it's going, I'm like, okay, good to see you. Talk to you later.
Yeah, she done. Yeah, don't make good nonsense.
Good nonsense, right. No, I love that. And I think that's the point, right? Like learning what you need to learn to be successful, but to be able then to build the life or the lifestyle to properly or adequately like live in that success.
That's so true.
Like frequently we work to live.
Yeah, good.
But then we're going back to work.
Going back to work, yeah.
So we're never really living.
Yeah.
And we're not thinking about the quality of life. We're thinking about retirement, right?
Yeah.
But what is your life, your body, your being going to be by the time of retirement? You better take care of yourself and figure out ways to do so mentally, spiritually, emotionally, right? And so the other book I finally remember.
All right.
It's called The Midnight Library. And honestly, I didn't want to read. I had the book and I probably had it on my bookshelf for like a year. And then I finally read it. Another transformative book. Do I think it's like the best book ever? No, I don't. But it is transformative in terms of how you think and live your life. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the premise of the book is if you have ever had regrets, and I think we all have, and you have ever wished like, oh my goodness, if I would have only done this instead, it would have turned out like this or this or this. Or maybe if I would have made this decision, my life would be different in this way. This book will bless you. I promise you. You have to read this book. You have to. If you have any inkling, if there's anything in your life that you've ever said, and being spiritual people, frequently we're like, well, I would never change anything because everything that has ever happened has gotten me to this point. But there's always that one little thing in the back of your mind that you keep silent, that you're like, if only I would have.
Yeah.
Or,
Facts.
And maybe you don't think if only I would have, maybe you think, what would have happened if?
Facts.
You don't necessarily have a regret, but it's something that keeps coming up and almost haunting you in a way. Read this book. It will free you. Wow. Let me just say that. It's so powerful. It will free you. The Midnight Library. Phenomenal book. Yeah.
You heard it here. Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. I want each one of you all to register, to sign up to be a part of our book club.
Yeah.
Next Level Leader Book Club. Text the word book club to 78228. Once you do that, you'll get a link for the next Zoom. And then once you come on the Zoom, you can actually register for real to be a part and get notifications and all of that. And of course, I'm grateful. We'll share with you some things about the book club at the conclusion today, but we're so thankful. Leaders, listen, if you want to get to the next level, you want to go and experience all the things that God has in your life. Read.
Live your best life.
Put yourself in a position where you got all this great content flowing around. I promise you, it'll be a blessing to you. So,
and it's not cheating to use audiobooks.
No.
You're still getting the information.
Still getting it.
So, yeah.
Whatever works best for you, right? Whatever works best for you. So, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
Until next time, be blessed.
As Barack Obama once said, the books that help you grow are the books that challenge you to think differently. At the Next Level Leaders Book Club, we believe in the power of reading to transform not just your mind, but your life. This isn't just a book club. It's a thriving community of passionate learners and leaders who are committed to growing, connecting, and evolving together. In 2024, we read 24 books. We also had the privilege of hearing from incredible voices like Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Anita Phillips, Ricky Smiley, and recording artist PJ Morton. This is just a glimpse into the world of wisdom and inspiration our members experience. But it's not just about the books. It's about the conversations, the challenges, and the friendships that are built. Every 2 weeks, we dive into powerful stories and lessons, and we leave with more than knowledge. We leave with a deeper understanding of who we are and who we can become. Join a community of passionate, like-minded people who are ready to take their lives and leadership to the next level. Text Book Club to 78228 to be a part of something bigger. Together, let's make 2025 the year we grow, learn, and lead.